Hello, everybody. Welcome to this latest edition of Storm Talk. I'm meteorologist Brian Good on this Wednesday night. It's just after the 10 o'clock hour. Thought I'd update you guys on the very latest on how the storm is going to progress as we head toward the upcoming weekend. I did see an interesting run here of the NAM model. I'm going to show that to you in just a few minutes. Let you see what I'm seeing here, and I'll explain whether or not I agree or disagree with that here in just a few moments. To start you off with the latest setup, first off, we've got a south wind tonight. That is helping things out because we did drop all the way down to about 38 degrees around the 6, 7 o'clock hour. That south wind is increasing in the past 2 hours, and now temperatures are in the 40s. So we're actually warming up here a little bit this evening. So we may still drop a little bit. When the wind relaxes from the south, we'll drop a few degrees. When the wind picks back up, we'll rise back up a few degrees. So it'll be a balancing act on low temperatures tonight. But in general, it'll be much warmer than it has been past couple of nights. As we look to the west, looks good out there to the west. Got some high clouds across the plain states. That's about it. That will actually help for some pretty sunrises and sunsets the next couple of days. Get your cameras ready. Here's the storm, though, developing. You see the snow developing in the higher elevations and the rain in the valleys. This is the next developing low pressure. This is going to be the big one here. It's going to eventually get its act together, move into Texas, and then arc its way up into the Ohio Valley as we head into the upcoming weekend. Let me start you off, though, with the map I've shown you the past couple days. We've made a slight jog here to the north compared to yesterday. It still keeps us in the axis here of some heavier rainfall right across the Ohio Valley, especially along Indiana and northern Kentucky, the heavier snow to the north of it, and then the severe weather off to the south. But it is this part of the forecast that is highly questionable and can be the most volatile when it comes to changing for us in the coming hours and days. Start you off with the rainfall totals. As we did Thursday through Sunday, I don't want you to pay attention to the actual numbers plotted here. That 3.82, the 3.72, the 2.39. Ignore the numbers. Pay attention to where the heaviest is versus the lightest. And that is going to be the key in this, is that I think the heaviest amounts is going to be a drastic shift here, gradient. That's going to develop from our southeastern counties all the way into areas of Indiana. So this is going to be the concern we're going to have. The more you head into Indiana, the more the threat will be there for some flooding and perhaps even some major river flooding. Got to watch that. Okay, let me get to the NAM model. This just came in a few moments ago. And what is interesting about this, and keep in mind, the NAM model is a short-term model that we use. It can only see up to 84 hours in advance, so it's limited sight. And usually the latter hours of the NAM are not the most reliable, but it is interesting because it is pretty consistent on this idea. It started about 12 hours ago, and it's holding on to the idea that the low pressures will be located across areas of Missouri. It also is trying to show a very strong and pronounced warm sector ahead of that. This would mean, if this is right for late Saturday, this would mean that we're looking at a very warm Saturday night. In fact, we could be close to 70 degrees Saturday night, very windy, but mostly dry, if this holds true with the NAM. It says the heaviest rain will be along the warm front, and then the heaviest rain on the backside of the low, and then developing cold front, and then nothing in the warm sector. We see this often. I would not rule this out, although this is a very spring-like setup, to be honest with you, so it's very unusual to see this for December standards. Advancing the map a little further here to early Sunday morning, it keeps that warm sector still pretty pronounced, although we've got a rain moving in here by 7 in the morning. It's getting closer to us. But it keeps the heaviest rain along the front, cold front, and then again around the warm front. What is significant about the NAM showing this is that it keeps the heaviest axis of flooding rain more to the north than what the model I just showed you. But the downside to that is it puts us more into the zone for severe thunderstorms to develop, and perhaps even some rotating storms as we did early on Sunday. So this is not all good news. We could get rid of the ease of the heavy rain threat, but we could sacrifice a severe threat. Again, this is just one model. The GFS is going to come in here in about 10 minutes, but it has been holding on for a while now, the idea of the front, the heavier rain axis more like this along the Ohio River, and the severe threat more to the south. So this is quite a difference here in the model runs that we're still showing, even this close to the event. Nevertheless, I wanted to show the rest of the NAM. It does show instability, not a lot, but it does have a few units, about 200 to 300 units across Indiana and West Kentucky. This is enough to produce damaging wind gusts. This is remarkable. Look at these wind fields early on Sunday. This is a little scary here to see that, but it is very strong wind fields early Sunday over a good chunk of the area. Louisville, by the way, is right here in the smack dab middle of it all. But again, it's because it has a more pronounced warm sector. It's why it's showing that. and that could lead to some problems. I did run the tornado index on this. This is an experimental product they have from the NAM that tells you the potential for damaging tornado, and you can see the highest threat is going to be down here across the south. But for the first time of this entire storm system, it's trying to spit out some light numbers for us in our area, thanks to that shift more to areas of Missouri up through Illinois. That would put us more in that zone. So the NAM model is interesting, and we've seen it happen many times. If anything, I would say this low pressure would actually track more to the north than it would to the east. So a jog to the north and west makes more sense to me based on the NAM than it would the GFS does. So I'm curious to see what the GFS is going to do. And again, it's coming in about 10 minutes, and I'll try to post on it when it does on the blog here. But overall, we're going to keep the heavy rain threat intact here. I still think that's a real threat that we've got to keep talking about, and hopefully we can pull back on that, on those amounts as well once we get a little closer. I hope we can, because we don't want any flash flooding, and we don't need river flooding, certainly for the Christmas holiday. But that is a potential. And then we'll see if we have to move up the idea of severe weather. I'll let this settle overnight. Lauren Jones will be in the morning. She'll have an update. And then I'll be back in tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see how this all looks. We got plenty of time. This is only Wednesday. We're talking about Saturday night, Sunday morning. So a lot could still happen. So I don't want to hype it up or scare you or confuse you by any means. Just want to make you aware that this is what we're looking at, and this is how we're evaluating it. And we're just going to take it day by day and keep you posted on it. All right, but makes sense. Enjoy the warm weather. It starts tomorrow. 58 for high, in the 60s, maybe 70 Saturday night, and it looks cold for Christmas. And I still see a chance for some snow for New Year's Eve. I'm not letting that down just yet, but I haven't had time to talk about it much because this storm has got my attention and it deserves my attention. So I'll see you tonight coming up at 11 o'clock. Thanks for watching.